Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use data frame from Pandas library to read data from Excel file. Go to your ID and create a new project. I'm using Pycharm right now. Give a name to your project. Right-click on the project, then select New, then select Add File. Give any name to the file. Now we have to import some libraries that are required for the project. First I will import Pycharm, as this is a graphical user interface project. From Pycharm import star. Star means all methods would be imported. Next import Pandas. Import Pandas as PD. If you have to install these libraries, don't worry, your ID, will take care of it. Then I will import Pandas table from table, and matplotlib for plotting chart. Create a class, I will name it reddata. Then add a constructor to the class. Parameter for constructor would be root. Self.root equal to underscore root. Self.file name, keep it empty. Self.if equals to frame. Pass the self.root value to frame. This frame will act as a container, which can be used to hold the other widget. Now call the pack method. Self.if.pack. This pack geometry manager organizes widgets in blocks before placing them in the parent widget. It uses the options fill, expand and side as parameters. It determines if the widget keeps the minimal space needed, or takes up any extra space allocated to it. Add another method display data, and this method is used for displaying data. It is better to put the code in a try block as we are going to read the file as well in this block. Inside the try block, create a data frame object. Put a comment here indicating data is read from the file. Pandas library has a readC as the method which is used to read data from a CSV file. Pass the path of the file as a parameter to this method. In my case, my file is in E drive. Now save this in a data frame variable. There is also a method to read Excel files, that is read Excel. I will add another data frame variable, where I will save one column data. Column name that is passed here should be same, the column name in C, as the file. There is a value counts method, which will count occurrences of the values in that particular column. Let's first put an exception block here, or else Pycharm will continue to throw an error. This would be a file not found error, because that's what most likely be the error. File might be missing from the path, or path won't be existing. Here goes the main code where we will call the class. Put a comment here indicating it's the main driver code block. Now I will use TK object to create a root window, where we'll display our data. Let's call it root equals to TK, our root window, or call it main window. Create another object where we will pass our root object to the head. That class. We need dimensions for our window. On initial load, size of window would be the size that we specify. TK class has a geometry method where we can pass the dimensions for the window. TK.geometry. Now call the main loop method, root.mainLoop. What it does is it tells Python to run the Pycharm event loop. This method listens for events, such as button clicks or key presses, and blocks any code that comes after it from running until the window is called on its close. Use a print statement to see the output on console. Pass the data from object to the print statement. Pycharm will open a window, but this would be an empty one. Right now, I'm printing the output on console. As I said earlier, counts method will print count of each product category type. I am using the samples file. This is some random data only. Let me open the Excel file. So this the file. Here we have the product category column. Right now, I'm using this column. Now let's print all the columns past the data frame object. That's it, all columns are there on the console. Change the data frame object, put it new, and it will print product category. We can print more than one column by passing the column names. Now I will create a table where I will display the data. Put a comment here to represent the block. First I will add a frame here where I will display the table. Self.equal to frame, and pass the self root here, put height and width of your choice. Now we need to call pack method. As I said earlier, pack is a geometry manager, which manages the widgets in rows and columns. Now I will create a table object using table method. Self.table equal to table, and pass the parameter self.foo. Next specify the data frame object. I guess read-only is not the correct parameter to make the data read-only. I think editable will do it. If it does not work, we will change it later. Call the show method, which will display the table on window. Self.table.show. That's it, let's run this. It will take a few seconds. There it is, whole data is displayed. We can interchange the rows. I think data is also editable. We can also sort the data. Pandas by default gives these functions by default. We can edit the color of rows also. Now I will use figure to display the plot of the data. First let's put comment here describing about the block. First of all, I need an object of figure. Figure equal to both set and figure. Specify the size in the figure size parameter, and put it pi equal to 100. To pi is actually magnification, it will specify how much the plot would be magnified. Axis is required for our plot, and that would be created using addSubplot method. addSubplot method of Matplotlib library is used to add axis to the figure as part of a subplot arrangement. Chart type equal to figure canvas tk at Pass the figure and root object to this method. This method will end the graph to kinterguy. Now call the plot method using data frame object. It takes a few parameters. Kind will specify what type of graph it would be. Legend equal to true, and x equal to axis. Axis.legend, use it for giving the plot name. Axis.set title to give a title to the plot. Figure.type layout will fit the plot in the figure area. So this is our plot. We can change the kind and can change the plot type to feature or line type. This is much easier in Jupyter. In the next video, I will show you this using Jupyter. That is much more easier. It will also make your code short. That's it, see you guys in another video. If you like my content, then don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. A sub would be electrifying.